Hello and welcome to another episode of Steelfur Supremacy, my playlist where we talk about more competitive focused topics in Flesh and Blood. Today we are addressing the topic of deck building, building a new deck in a meta, not playing what everyone else is playing, and actually having the exciting time for yourself. And joining us for that discussion is the very relevant Hamish from Push the Point podcast. Most of you will have known, made a top 8 at the UK Nationals with Viserai. How are you doing, Hamish?
Hi, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. It's been a really sort of hectic week, so I'm glad we found the time to sit down and chat.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had these opportunities to just chat in a testing space all the time, but it's really exciting to actually get the opportunity to come and jump on Steelfur Speaks. Ooh,
Yeah, you get to say it too. It's really catchy, isn't it? Um,
it's got a good ring to
yeah, you've got to have the alliteration in there, or it just doesn't roll off the tongue. So
it.
I guess the reason I wanted to invite you on, and like during the testing process, I found this very fascinating as well, is that most of us were working on essentially what was our original deck, or
Mm,
a meta updated version of our original deck. So Katsu for me, Dorinthia for Shingo, and or we were going down the deep end on one of the new heroes, just trying to make them work. But you,
yeah,
you didn't play the deck that you played at the Road to Nationals because you've been playing Bolton then. You didn't
yeah,
go
I
for one
know,
of the
right?
new
Yeah.
heroes. You instead went back to Viserai, which I think was an old favorite of yours.
Oh, yeah. So usually, what's happened really throughout that is. When I first started, I picked up Viserai because it was the hero that, to me, looked the more edgiest. It looked really cool. He was
Yeah.
like he was the hero that just caught my eye. So I jumped in just when Crucible War has just released, or when I properly jumped in. Crucible War just came out, and then yeah, I was really trying to explore how to make him work. And then back then he was okay, wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And then I pivoted over to Rhinar, and then Monarch comes out, and then they release
Mm.
Chain, a Shadow Rune Blade. I'm like, oh, cool. So Shadow Rune Blade, that seems like a cool character to jump into. I was actually more excited to see what sort of kit that Viscerai would get, and they got
In Monarch, yeah.
Sonata and all that. And I kind of go, oh, I'm gonna have a little go of Viscerai and have another go, and then it's
Yeah.
like, he's not ready yet. I'll put him back on the shelf.
We had that
So
OTK combo deck, but it really wasn't
yeah,
there. It wasn't there properly.
it was all right. It was mainly boring. I think it was probably fine. I think I could have probably
It,
took it and
yeah.
did okay, but it
It
was
did. I
just
mean, it did win an RTN or two, but
it was fine. It was just not what I wanted to do. So then I went, oh, you know what? I'm interested in Bolton, so I'll play Bolton. So I bought that collection and went there. And then Tales of Aria came out, and hey ho, another Rune Blade. So I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay, another chance for Viscerai.
So,
I wasn't really interested in Briar, and then yeah, and then the new kit came out, so had a go, and well, here
yeah.
we
So
are.
really, the impetus for that was just you seeing like all the neutral Runeblade cards and thinking,
Yeah.
wait a second,
Hmm.
these in Viscerai are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I wasn't overtly interested is with the Runeblade hero that came in the set. I was more,
Yeah.
like you said, I was more interested in the kit that Viscerai was going to get out of this set,
Hmm.
which ended up being some pretty nice stuff, I have to say.
But you didn't go back to the OTK Viserai because
No, no, no. I was not. I did. I was. Was not. I was straight up not convinced that that is what he needed to be. I
okay,
knew he could, but I just there was so much tools there in the likes of Meridian Skies, and you've got Spellblade Assault and all these sort of cards that were just do something. It brings you like damage in terms of rune chance, banking up while you're doing things. So while I was playing him originally, I was like, okay, so he can. You kind of want to attack and then maximize making rune chance while you're attacking, and then follow that up with another attack that will bank up more rune chance. So it was this flow of trying to get the most out of your attacks to make rune chance to deal extra damage. And I
mm,
thought that was a really, really good strategy, but it just wasn't quite there
mm,
to sort of finish. And really, Viscerai just couldn't really close a game out. He was completely fine in a mid-game sense. You know, he could do these huge blowout turns with Amplify the Art Knight and Rattle Bones and, you know, all this fun, crazy stuff that you can just blow out in. But then he could just never end a game because
Yeah.
he's just, you can just block up easily all of his stuff.
And I remember early in testing, two things that stood out to me when we were playing fairly early on, because I was trying to do Briar, was trying to do the Spellbound Creepers, and I kept being like,
Hmm.
just keep blowing up because I'm not getting arcane damage through. And you
Yeah.
were there and you were just like, well, have some rune chants, you know, here's 10.
Hmm.
Every turn it was like, here's 5 more arcane. And in the Spellbound Creepers just stuck around for so long.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, and you were getting go again from the non-attack actions as well. And I think the thing that really sealed it for us in testing, wasn't it, was Rosetta Thorn. Switching to
Oh,
that
yeah.
from
I have to say, I have to. So this whole journey started with actually me and you, really, because it was originally we were all in the tank, weren't we?
yeah,
Just scratching our heads, going, "What are we doing? What are we
these new
doing?"
elemental heroes don't actually seem very good. How the hell do I
No,
fuse?
yeah,
And then we
it was just
spent 3 weeks
yeah.
trying to get fuse to work, and then it was like, wait a second, let's just not fuse at all. Let's just
It was there was a lot of things going on. We're all in this tank working out what to do. I mean, and my very first iteration of Viscerai, which was just a mock up, was for me uh to use Dustblade,
Hmm.
and it wasn't banned then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
in at that point, so I brought it along to you, and you said, "Oh, I'm trying this out," and I was like, "Oh, that's fine. I'm just trying this out." It's probably a giant joke because we all thought Spellbound Creepers was a chain card, right? And it has some cool interactions with Viscerai, but yet again, it's one of those. It's got a cool interaction, but probably not
Yeah.
that great
Chain
at the
chain
time.
plays a non-attack action from Banish, gets go again, laughs in
Yeah,
your
I mean, you can
face, you
just
know.
you can just see the power of that in
Yeah,
chain is just so evident, and Viserai could use it, right? I mean, that
yeah,
was the initial thought
yeah, yeah.
processes without thinking through. So we did our game, and halfway through the game, I straight up said to you, this deck is trash. It doesn't work." And I just conceded to you, and you went, "Oh, okay, should we just do another one?" I went, "Yeah, that's fine." And I was going to just say, "No, I won't play Viserai." And then weirdly enough, you said, "No, go on, have another go.
Yeah.
Just do another one." And I went, "Oh, but Dustblade is trash." And he went, "No, just do it again." And I just went, "You know what? For memes, go on then. I'll use Rosetta Thorn."
Yeah.
And then instantly we then went, "Oh,
Because it's
this is really
basically
this is
free
good."
two free uses of the boots, right? Because
Yeah,
most people aren't running Null Rune 2. Even if they are, they're not blocking all of your rune chants and your Rosetta Thorn.
exactly,
So you're
exactly.
just there being like, if Spellbound Creeper sticks around for 2 turns really easily, suddenly it's fantastic.
I mean, this was the early version of this. I mean, I can go into a bit more about how I've like trained. Like Spellbound Creepers has
Hmm.
really been the big training focus for me when I was playing it.
Yeah.
But at the time, yeah, it was very much thinking, "Oh, Viscerai can keep these boots longer than people the other Runeblade heroes." So this is really
Mm.
good, and the damage output is crazy. The
Yeah.
threats and the pressure it's coming out is just, it was very aggro at the very first point when when we saw this, and then
Yeah.
I kind of did. I had to be a bit of a confession to you, Steelfur. All this time I kept saying, "Oh, I don't know." I think at the very moment when we played that deck, I knew I'm 100% playing this. I thought this is really good, and it seemed to have just smashed into things really well. But I was just waiting for it to hit a wall that I couldn't overcome, and it was going to be a popular hero. So I was just convinced there's going to be Prism or Bravo or someone's going to come along and go, "Hey, we're really popular, and this deck does not deal with this very well." So I was kind of like, "Oh, maybe that's real," but I weirdly haven't discovered it yet. I seem to still
Yeah.
pile drive through
I mean, you
all
may
these
think you're a
games.
master of deception, but I was pretty clear that you were going to be playing Runeblade from roughly like the second or third week that you were testing the deck, because it essentially it was just like Hamish is having a lot of fun playing this deck. Oh,
Yeah, I was.
Hamish has played 20 games with that deck this week. Oh, Hamish is testing that deck with loads of people, not even like our testing group. He's actively going to test it against other people and play all over the place. Hamish likes this deck. Then I was like, Hamish is playing that deck at Nationals.
I know, yeah, and
It wasn't,
there was still some people. It was still on the day though. I must have fooled one or two people because they did come up and go, "Please, did you bring Viscerai? You didn't bring Bolton." And I was like, "Oh," and I still to the very last minute, I was like, "I don't know, man. It could be Bolton in there." And they're like, "If you didn't bring Viscerai, I'll get cross." And I was like, "Ah,
I mean,
no, I'm bringing Vis. I was playing Viscerai for
yeah,
ages."
we all wanted you to play Viserai from the start because it was just like, why play the game, play the deck you're having fun with and is winning? Like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. Long story short, I was very much hitting on this deck quite soon after our testing game, and yeah, you're right. I did play this up against some other people. I played this up with a couple of New Zealand guys. If it's all right to give a couple of shout outs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a group of people: Rohan, Jason Lai, Aaron, Curtis, Matt. I don't know your second name, Matt. Matt from Australia, and we've got Mark who's in the group. Simon's in the group. We've got Ash, and I'm really sorry. There's Callum, Jason.
There's
Fussell
a lot
Nelson.
of people in the group,
And there's one more. I feel really bad, dude. I haven't had a lot of chats with you, but anyway, that's the group of people I've been playing with. Mainly Jason Lai, Rohan, Matt, and Aaron Curtis. They were the real people that pushed me playing this, because after I finished that game with you, I came and played a game with them, and I had a game with a guy called Ash, and he kind of just went, "Dude, this deck's pretty good," and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I want you guys to turn around and tell me it's trash, because I'm really waiting for someone to tell me this deck doesn't work against someone." And then they were like, Rohan, pile on in, let's have a look at this. And I played it, and they all went, "This deck is pretty nuts." And then I was like, "Oh my god, you guys were meant to tell me this deck is trash. I don't need, seriously, Viscerai has never been good. You can't tell me this is good." And they were like, "This is pretty good." And then we got to work really, and got our thinking caps on, and just tinkered with it, and yeah, that's it.
Let's talk more about that, because I think that's going to be the interesting part to a lot of people here, because obviously it's very easy for them to hear about testing. Obviously people who are testing play a lot of games. Obviously there's the lists that get posted and the sideboard guides and things like that, and once you get a finished product, you can really just follow a deck and learn how it plays. But
Yes.
Let's talk more about your process of sort of refining the deck from that initial game that we played into the final product. So, was it people suggesting cards and just playing loads of games with them until you figured out what went in? Was there something else going on?
So realistically, the starting point of the deck was I knew that it was going to be non-attack action would go again, attack action card followed by Rosetta Thorn.
Mm-hmm.
And the key, obviously, that was kind of like the very core starting building block of when I started this up. So, Meridian Skies, I started up with 9. I need 9 of them. Put them all in. So they're my go-tos. And then I was like, is that enough? Probably not. So I started off and I put in Captain's Call in. Captain's Call yellow will do. So I had 12 of them and thought that's my starting point. And then I looked at the okay, what are the reds? What's the good cost curve? So it then turned into, okay, well, we need attacks with good break points. So 4. 4 is a good break. 4 is the key break point here.
Break point, yeah.
Yeah. So let's throw them in. Meet and Greet, Spellblade Assault, Spellblade Strike, and I think that was kind of where it very first started. At that point, I was kind of happy with just them for some reason, but that's all I remember. So I had them in initially, and then I was like, right, okay, so we still need to have a good go wide approach. So I like E-Strike. E-Strike's good. E-Strike is a good breaking point. Then I was thinking, we can do some funky stuff with creepers. Didn't put too much, but E-Strike has got that same mantra of, if I play, go again, all that sort of stuff.
Maybe you draw a card and then you can pitch it to creepers.
Yeah, draw a part. Yeah, loads of. I just thought there's so many interactions. We've got creepers here, so there's so much fun we can have with that. All right, Command and Conquer. Need that. Command and Conquer puts that pressure on. Thought this is good. I'm going to roll with that. And then that was kind of really at that point I was kind of going, okay, well that's a good core block there. We'll roll with that. And now we need to have some non-attack action cards that can sort of support that. And I think Sonata Arcanix is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So a 0 cost, go again, draw a card, deal an arcane in just in its basic form is crazy. Yeah. Adding creepers.
Yeah, and then you're getting go again, and it's like
it's getting a bit silly now. So I got to that point, and then my mind quickly then raced into, okay, well, what are the resources? How are we going to pay for all this stuff, right? So straight up, Become the Art Knight goes straight in because it's really good.
Blocks 3, search card.
Yeah, it's Viscerai specialization. It's really good, really good for that. Open the Art Knight is also, in my opinion, a very easy go-to blue card for Runeblade because it's actually, apart from Become the Art Knight, it's the only non-attack action card that blocks for 3.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah, and I need it in a blue, so that's the sole reason there.
And also, the main thing is you don't regret playing it either.
No, it has some niche. It has some niche points where it becomes pretty good, but most of the time, it's my resourceman block card. Drip Triptych again is. I think that was kind of it when it comes to the blues for non-attack action cards. I thought, well, I've got some blue Meridian Skies. And then I was sort of thinking, right, okay, so I've got 3, 6, 9. I kind of really want to have another non-attack action card because you're also trying to balance the attack action cards to non-attack action card ratio purely because of Sonata. You want to get that good balance of mixing the two. So then I thought, you know what? I quite like Tome of the Art Knight. I dubbed it in my video as the scab skin levers of the deck.
Fair, yeah.
It is a scab skin leather card. It'll fart. But then I kept thinking, well, if it doesn't work, I just get a rune chant.
If it doesn't work, you just get a rune chant, and you get to swing with the Rosetta Thorn.
Exactly. It's fine. It's fine as it is. And then sometimes you can just go, but if it does work, this is gas. You're in trouble. So I thought it's not a block 3, but I think there is some utility behind it. So I got with that, and I was kind of really satisfied with at that point with the non-attack action blues.
Home is an interesting card just to stop and analyze something else that you can think about while building these kind of decks. Because we were talking about earlier on in the testing phase whether or not Tome of the Arc Knight was just a positive bias card for you. Because the times when it works, it really, really, really works. And when it doesn't work, you're spending a resource to get what, right? That was the discussion. And, we were asking you, is it just a positive bias card? Which is one of the things you kind of have to avoid when you're building a deck from scratch, is including your favorite cards because they sometimes won you the game, even when they aren't really, really good cards. But your process for telling us no was quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall what my point was, because I think actually I
think it's kind of what you just said, which is that when you play it, it can be very good, but because of Rosetta, you're no longer relying on it to be very good.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
That was the distinction that kind of won us over to the Tome discussion, because originally Tome is like a high roll card, as you say.
Oh yeah, 100% it.
And because it wins you games, it can carve itself a permanent space in the deck, but it also costs 1 and blocks for 2, and it sometimes does nothing. So
it is. Yeah, I agree. It is rope. I'll be honest with you. I have actually. I took it into the nationals, but I've actually decided I don't want to use it anymore.
Oh, interesting.
I think a blue plunder run is a better shout overall.
It guarantees a card draw and a threat, which is
I think because most of the time I didn't really use Tome, and Tome was kind of like that Lord of the Rings moment where you look at it and you go, but what if? And I'm I'm too much of a chancer.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
My brain just goes, but if I can weave it in, this is going, and you shouldn't really do that. You shouldn't. So I was kind of like going,
the trap of some cards is that they present you that
they lure
temptation, and then they whiff, and you're just like,
damn it.
Fuck, did I
Yeah,
just do this? Like, yeah.
well, I know. I think I've made some pretty terrible decisions based on this card. So, I I think I've swapped this up now, and I highly advise people to actually put in Plunder and Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and Plunder and Blue purely because once you get the reps with the Skeletor in, your plays just kind of open up even more. Gets a little bit more complicated-ish sometimes because you can get in the think tank a bit, but even then
You're
you can go,
talking about the
well,
fact that you're not necessarily going to play Plunder Run before your attack hits because of the
yeah,
creatures. And that's where it gets a bit tricky.
It does, and even if you think, oh, you know what, in a pinch, I'll just put this in a Plunder Run in Arsenal's good.
No,
You know,
it's
Plunder
never,
Run in Arsenal's
it's never the
good.
wrong decision.
No, red is better, but if you could put a blue in,
Fine. It's fine.
yeah, it's fine. It could be good. So yeah, I swap them out for that. And to finish off the blue part, I love Vex and Malice. I think Vex and Malice
Wins game.
is oh yeah, it wins. It's won me loads of games. And I went with Spellblade Assault Blue because of the create 2 rune chant token section. I thought that was very important. To if sometimes you really don't want to use the blues, but if you're going to use a blue,
it should do something.
Yeah, and the damage is low, but the generating rune chant part, which is the strongest part of the card, is still there. So I'm like, well, the good bit's still in, so I'll still use the good bit. You know, when I want to go wide, it's easy to block for sure. It's not going to, because it hasn't got the break point. But hey, free arcane, 2 arcane, 2 physical with a Rosetta is still really annoying.
Exactly.
And the cost.
And
so
it's
yeah,
not a
that
card you mind pitching early game because even when it shows up late game, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
the damage, the pressure the rune chants give is just where the deck really lies. So that was kind of and Gorgonian Tome, because Gorgonian Tome's cool card and does loads of stuff.
So playing Briar, you may as well, right?
Yeah. So I started up as kind of like a good core starting building block with the deck, and then I kind of just rolled from that point really, and I got it pointed out very quickly why you're not running Rune Flash, and I was kind of initially looking at it because I was an absolute dodo, going, oh, but it's okay, and it's just suddenly went, oh my god, yeah, Spellblade Assault, obviously. I make 3 rune chants. It's free. It's literally free damage. And then second I put that in, the deck then turned into it then started to become pretty silly after that. And then the rest of the points then started to weave in. I was Amplify the Art Knight I thought was an important card. It needs to be slotted in because Prism exists. Same with Ninth Blade as well. I was like, these are these. So I've got 3 Command and Conquers, 2 Ninth Blades, 2 Amplify the Art Knights. That's there's enough there to deal with Prism. I thought that was a very important point to put in. And then the defense reactions started to creep in a little bit because I was like, oh man, my brain, especially in the UK, and you got Sharif.
You just have to watch for Dorinthia. Because you'll be like, she's not in the meta, and then Sharif will show up with Dorinthia that he's been testing, and he'll be like, no, I made some changes, and you're like, oh god.
I went into auto panic mode and just went, right, I'm just going to put in I'm putting in 3 sinks and I'm putting in 3 fates, and a lot of people did tell me, oh Hamish, why aren't you using reduce the rune chants? And it just harked back into the old, like when I used to play Viscerai quite a lot, that I started to learn the process of, if you don't run a Nebula Blade, right, it's rubbish. They're rubbish.
No, but I actually agree with you, because
you swing the weapon, the rune chants are gone.
The whole point of Rosetta Thorn is to attack with Rosetta as many times as you can in the game. And I think if you were running Reduce the Rune Chant, you would not attack with Rosetta when you should.
Yeah, exactly. So I was immediately going, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, but Sigil Stuffing is out. Good new defense reaction. But I was kind of like,
I don't think it's as good as the classics.
It's, to be honest, if someone wanted to put it in, I wouldn't argue. Right, my initial thought processes are I'd rather have a guaranteed 0 cost block for.
Yeah,
like I don't want to. Maybe if some work around things and stuff. I just want these work. they're fine.
I'm on
You know,
one
I don't
life and I have to do a 2-card block because my opponent could just pay for the arcane, right?
exactly. You know, or I got a pitch to, you know, all this sort of stuff. I was like, no, these I'm just going to put them in, and I did initially put in a movable as well, which I have actually sided out, which I think is. I was having an hour and thinking that was a mistake, but I don't think so.
I don't think you need one.
Well, I will when we get to near the end of this point, I will actually give some updated thoughts about this overall. But I'm just going through the journey of this. So yeah, no, a movable I put in, and then I took out and thought, you know what, these defense reactions are fine. And then I started to play up again. That was, you know, then it was starting to get to the point where I was thinking, right, you know, Katsu existed, and Lightning Lexi really and Katsu were these non-block, super hyper aggro heroes. So then then it started to think, okay, we need to look at some punishing stuff here. Command and Conquer does that really well, but hey, Consuming Volition, that's this punishes. So that they started to come into the deck. And then the Captain Calls got swapped out to lead the charges. I was initially, when I was testing up, was told that you should really run the reds. And there was a pretty good argument to that, because the red, you could play Captain's Call red, play that, play Read the Runes. Yeah. And then you know, also I didn't actually, I didn't actually have Read the Runes in at the time. At the lead the charge red and the Read the Runes started to come in a bit later on at that point. And then I was kind of going, yeah, you know what, reds are pretty good. They can, you know, it works on a lot of different things that my deck wants to do. And then I swapped them back into yellow because I played into Prism, and I was having a panic attack when that library came out. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, I don't have enough yellows.
Yeah, but the true aggro Chad, right, does not care about the yellows. They just don't let them pitch enough cards to get the library. But
you're right, and maybe there is definitely an argument there. But I did just thought to myself and went, you know what? Shall I sacrifice the red? For the Read the Runes interaction, and that's literally the only interaction, just so I can have just a few more tools to, just in case I'm not doing very well, I can just get rid of that library and smash their tempo. That was kind of the thought process. Plus, as well, it's a yellow. The cost curve of playing Moravian Skies, pitch Lead the Charge to play Spellblade Strike or Moravian Skies, and then have a resource floating over to then do Rosetta was like, okay, so it gives me a lot bit more scope to play around with resources. So that's why I stuck with the yellow. And then Read the Runes came in because I started to get even better with working out the creepers. Instead of using the Read the Runes as a card to just play when I'm done, I would go, I don't know, Moravian Skies, Spellblade Strike. I have always got one floating resource going. Creepers, Read the Runes, make 4 rune chants, swing with Rosetta. You know, they're just great blowout moves.
Yeah, and those sorts of turns were really what blew the deck to another level, I would say.
Yeah, and then I kindly traded you the Cold Field Library, didn't I?
Oh, we swapped everything really.
We did. I literally went. I think that was a pretty good. You know, if drafting was trading, I think I gave you some pretty good signals.
I mean, yeah. What was it? It was a Rainbow Foil Shard, Creepers, and like 10 Majestics from Monarch or something. I know from 10 Majestics.
From Tales of Aria. Yeah, it was basically to complete the set of Oldhim. And you know, then I took all those cards that you traded with me and cashed it in for a shield.
Oh, did you?
I did. All those Majestics.
Wow.
I took all those Majestics and I got the Cold Foil what's it, Ice Heart. And my brother was wanting to play Bravo, and I was like, you know what, I really love this Ram's Head. I'm not going to play Oldhim, I'm going to play Viserai. So I just said to Brandon from Techlo Cards, dude, what do I need to get this shield? And he went, I really want a load of Majestics. And I went, you know what, how about all them and this Cold Full Heart? And he went, deal. And I got the shield. And I was kind of, I got the shield. Anyway.
I mean, I traded Brandon a load of Majestics for a tree. So he's double dealing with everyone.
But
that's what he does.
Hey, that's, you know, Majestics and single single market is,
It's booming. Yeah.
yeah, that's where it's at. Anyway, but yeah, so I got the, and then once I got the Art Night Shard, I was testing with it. Obviously, I didn't own one, but I was testing with it, and it was just that point. I felt like I've always wanted the Art Night Shard, but I don't know. It's a lot of money. Viscerai's not that good.
Yeah.
And then when I started to realize, oh, Viscerai, this is getting really good. I thought it is now time to commit.
I mean,
to
you
the
did
shard.
that deal at the perfect time because a week and a half later, Crucible went out of print, and the shard is now worth 400 quid. Now I'm
Is
lucky
it?
because it's worth like 300.
I mean, I still think you got a mad
No,
deal.
I did.
Like,
That's
yeah.
I got a fantastic deal, and even after the price increase, it's still fantastic from my side. But I was thinking to
Yeah.
myself, oh, I'll trade this with him, and then I'll just buy another one if I need one in a few weeks. And then I was like, God damn it! It's
To be honest,
classic.
it was like I know a lot of people will say, "Oh man, Steelfur, you got a mad deal because it was a cold full library," and I was like, "Yeah," but to be honest, for me, like cards and monetary value like have a place, but it's not the driving factor for me.
But also, like, the trade in the end was probably what you would have got if you'd sold the library in the UK.
Oh yeah,
For the US listeners, the cold foils in the UK don't sell the same way they might do in America.
no, they don't. It's I tried to sell it. It's impossible to sell in the UK.
No one's paying that much for a card. People want playables. We've got a lot of new players who want Majestics and
Exactly.
legendaries. They're not breaking out for a library, especially not when the other version is only like 180 quid or something.
Exactly, 100%. But then I looked at that and there was a card just sitting here doing literally nothing, and I was like, yeah. Anyway, but so once I got the shard locked in, I wanted to. I thought this. You could tell me it's not that great. I do not care. This card is no, but there is actually a point.
There's
probably some points you shouldn't run it.
Yeah, well, it just doesn't block, and in the really grindy games, it's like
I know it's not the one you want. But I said I don't care. I'm having it. I want it in, and so that kind of wraps up into the whole where we kind of are now. I forgot to mention I have got Crown of Dichotomy, and I mean I was pretty much straight in because no rune, right?
Yeah. And you can give it a go again with creepers too.
It's when you were talking about this interaction, which I did see with the Tome of the Art Night, and yes, that is an interaction you can do. But I will say, is if I have to pop my Crown of Dichotomy to get 2 cards, there's there is another planet that I feel that I can beat you without null rune.
Yeah, exactly. By that,
I'm going to be like
the crowd
30 health or something mad
against the games where you need null rune anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So is just better.
I'll just be a brave boy and go, you know what? I don't care. I'll take your arcane.
It's the Lexi trap. It's the I've blown up my bullseye bracers and now I have no arcane for the rest of the game. And Briar's just like, oh really?
Yeah, I actually did play someone that did blow up their bullseye bracers with Viscerai, and I was kind of like, dude, I wouldn't do that. And he went, it'll be fine.
Yep. Spoilers.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah, he never. Yeah, he said, I'm never doing that again. Not with Viscerai, anyway.
A lot of Lexi players have started to run the null rune boots literally for that reason, because the bullseye braces is too tempting.
I mean, I've seen Lexi players run bullseye and Ice Heart. To be honest, Ice Heart's a pretty fair one. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of where the list. That's kind of where we are now with the whole list, really. Oh, Rattlebones. I forgot to mention Rattlebones and Plunder Run. I love Rattlebones a lot, and a lot of people kept telling me it's really weird. It's okay. It's either okay.
It's a win more card if you have more resources, right?
I actually argue to death. I think Rattlebones is like super powerful.
I mean, I've seen it on the turns that it's worked for you, and you've gone to deal like 25 to 30 damage on the turns. I'm not going to argue.
No, it is. Rattlebones is a high ceiling card where you see. You say that. You say it's a high ceiling card. Maybe I've played so much that it's pretty. I've gotten to the point where I feel like it seems obvious when to use it, but. A Rattlebones, when you pop Skeletor and you've got a Rattlebones sitting in your arsenal, I just feel like the whole, if you think of that picture of Sonata Arcanix, Like you just feel like the universe has now opened up into going, dude, you are in the greatest amount of trouble right now.
This is what
because
playing every single Runeblade deck except Lightning Briar feels like.
yeah,
It's like I have all of these options and the world is unfolding in front of me, and then Lightning Briar is just like Usain Bolt running through a field.
Yeah, Lightning Briar just goes, did I just draw a 4 strength 0 cost?
Play it.
That's all I want. Yeah, play it. But Rattlebones, oh my god, I love it. When that goes, it's just that is the epitome of blowing out the opponent to like to the nth degree. It can also be a very, very good card to just, you know, even if you're really, really down, like, you know, I've used this in turns where I went, you know what, I'm really, really stuck here right now. I've got like 1 or 2 cards and they really just don't combo off extremely well. But I've got a Rattlebones. You know, I'm just gonna dig some tempo out of this, and then it's great for that. And I think it's amazing. I ran with 2 for a long time, and I think I was the defender of the Rattlebones for ages, and everyone was going, it's all right, it's not that good. And I was like, no, it's busted, it's really good, it's really good.
I mean, I wanted it to succeed because I have 3 first edition foils, but that's another story entirely.
Oh wow, right, okay. Well, I should have known that and said, oh, you got to put them in the trade.
I don't think I had them then. I think I bought them, and I think I got sent them.
I haven't got 4 ones. I've got the normal first edition ones. But anyway, so I dropped down from 2 to 1. I kind of then started to go, oh, maybe the guys are right, you know, because it was there was moments you kind of like, I don't want to. So I dropped down to 1 and thought, you know what, when it shows up, it's good. I don't know really. I'd probably just keep it as it is. You know, the Rattlebones, when it shows up, it's fine. You know, it's definitely not one of those cards that you want to see a lot of. It's one of those cards that when it shows up at the good time, it's a real good time.
And then you see Matt Rogers running 3 of them, and like,
oh no, I tell you what, actually, you know what, I'll say it here, right? That guy. I was chatting to him about this because before all this national stuff came up, I was my ears, you know, the winds of rumors were floating around. You know, when you can hang out with some New Zealanders, you know, Chinese whispers, they come about, right? You know, people are playing this, people are thinking that.
Absolutely.
So there was some rumor mills that Matt was looking at Viscerai. I can't honestly remember exactly how that came about, but it's something I just heard. So I occasionally have a chat with Matt every now and then. After he came on to our interview, it's just, you know, casual hi and all that sort of stuff. So I just had a chat with him and said, "Hey, I'm hearing Runeblade," and he went, "Oh, well, you know, what made you hear that?" And I was like, "Oh, well, you know, I've also been working on Runeblade as well." He went, "Oh, I'm keen to have a look at your list." So I sent him a list. And then he went, "Yeah, Mo, damn, it's 90% the same deck." And I was like, I was sitting there thinking, "Oh, nah, you know," but it wasn't. Maybe, you know, a little bit here and there. But anyway, he gave me some sort of like little tidbits and stuff. And that I can't swear.
I mean, you sent him your entire list, and
I did. I was sort of fine.
He sent you some tidbits. I mean, that's.
He wasn't going to send me his list, and I said, "Dude, it's fine." I really, no, he was. I didn't care.
Closer to a collaboration at that point if you're sharing your entire list with him. But
he gave me. I sent over the entire list to him because I was kind of in this stage of, right, you know, dude, you're not coming over to New Zealand, so you're not really testing with the group that I'm testing with. You're over in the States, you know, and I was kind of like, it's fine. Honestly, I really don't care. You're not going to run what I'm running. You know. You're a peer to me, so you're not going to run what I'm running. You're clearly going to come up with something a little bit more fruity, right? But when he said, "Oh, it's 90% now," I was like, "Oh, damn! All right, fair enough. It's close enough." And he said, "I don't know about Rattlebones." Oh, mate, mate,
it ran 3.
Well, apparently he changed his mind 2 days before the event and slapped in 3.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I believe
right.
it, but yeah.
Well, probably, and he is right. To be honest, you know, it is awkward. Sometimes it is awkward. But you know, maybe you could run 3, have fun with it. I would gladly run 3, but there's times where it just turns into a blot.
Yeah.
And then the plunder runs started coming in because I got even the reps with Snarter, Creeper, sorry. Came. I thought, nah, plunder runs gas, mate.
Yeah, for sure.
Plunder runs gas.
No other way
And
to
then
describe it.
and that's kind of really where the deck came in. I've kind of just somehow explained how did I start this off, and then just basically told you my whole deck. But
yeah, but that's kind of the sort of process that I was kind of get at here. So I mean, for the core of this discussion, so we're trying to get to the idea of how do you build a good flesh and blood deck, and Simon talked about it a bit in his video where he was looking at the Briar list that he built with Jason and other people's help. But really, and you can correct me if you think any of these points need to be different, we're talking about starting off with establishing what your core deck function is. So what the main gameplay loop you're going for is every turn, and how to make that consistent. And that's going to be like 60 to 70% of your deck is just, okay, what do I want to do this turn? I'm playing Dorinthia. Okay, I want to swing with the Dawnblade. I want to give it go again. And then I want to swing with the Dawnblade a second time. Make sure it hits the first time. Okay, so I need go again and I need buffs. And for you, it was I need to play a non-attack action. I need to play an attack action that has go again. And then I need to stab someone with a Rosetta. And once you've established that, that's actually just like 60% of your deck building is how do I actually get that gameplay loop to be consistent?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
After that, you're looking at what cards then support that foundation. So you're expanding your list maybe up to 90%, which is the cards that support that and make it happen more consistently, which will be your Sonatas, your Become the Arc Knights, your blocks, your pitches that you need to make the cards work that you've got. And then the last 10% is the matchup support, the sideboard, and the spice cards, right? Because you don't just want to run a cookie cutter list. You do want to run some cards like Rattlebones that your opponent isn't going to play around because they're not going to see coming, right? And that's kind of important as well. And that's kind of how you got to where you are in your Flesh and Blood deck. And
yeah, I think you summarized that really well. To be honest, every hero has a thing. You've got to find out what that thing is and roll with it. And yeah, I totally agree with that. That's exactly. I did that with Bolton. He's got a weapon that likes charging, so let's put these charge cards in. How do these charge cards work? And then you soon you soon start to see the bit of the synergy. I will say though that the massive difference between what the deck that I made, which is I think you've nailed it perfectly on the head. I had an idea and I supported that idea, and then I tried to make that idea work against many decks, right? Yeah. And I think that's spot on exactly what I've done. And I think that this is the testament of why I think Viscerai, and I will say this, Viscerai is tier 1, right? 100%. I'm going there.
No,
Viscerai is 100% tier 1. And the reason then is that I think Matt Rogers even pushed that deck thinking even further. That he also, I'm not talking for him, but there's clearly a recognized process of this mid-range approach works.
Yeah.
But I think he recognized very quickly that there are certain matchups that approach is not that great, and I will say that going forward, Bravo is a pretty tough matchup for that type of approach.
Yeah.
So he scaled it back and actually went, you know what? What are we don't need to have 60% of this stuff doing what it needs to do. Do we need to have 4 reds going forward? Let's scale this back a little bit. Keep it's a tighter mid-range aggro approach.
Yeah.
But can we put in an OTK package within this as well? So I can switch it into a build loads of rune chants. I've still got Sonata. I'm still using the core pieces to what the OTK list uses. Can I put them in as well as keeping the mid-range list? And he has. And that to me was like, oh, this expanded this idea even further to the point where I don't know how many heroes can actually, go down a full-on strategy and then switch into a completely different strategy.
But do you think he has to sideboard in for that strategy? He can't just switch.
Oh yeah, 100%. No. You can't. You can't switch mid-game. You have to basically establish you need to look at the OTK and go, right, this is in here for Lightning Briar and Bravo and Oldham. That is it.
Okay,
The
you
rest of the
think that it deals
yeah,
with the Bravos and the Guardians
yeah, 100%.
because
Like,
it just blocks.
yeah, I mean, it's there's you just block, and there's Guardian and Lightning Briar. I think Lightning Briar is a bit tricky, but
Yeah,
it's also fine.
yeah,
But you have to play the OTK when you're dedicating yourself to go down that route, especially with a package that has mid range built in within it. It's really really hard, in my opinion. This is the bit where we're going to have to wait to see what Matt Rogers brings out when he does his video, whenever that is. But when I was looking at this and being playing Viscerai for so long, done OTKs, done all this sort of stuff, like I was looking at his OTK package, going, I get the rune chant generation bit.
yeah,
That bit is easy peasy. Mordred Tide, read the runes red, read the runes
yeah,
yellow. Sonatas, not well, no, for the Art Knights, right? You've got them there. I was like, right, okay, cool. These are the things that I used when I did OTK, so they're still in this list, and we're using it in the mid range. That's perfect.
yeah.
That works absolutely fine. How do we close this thing up? Because I used the Jason Chung list where it was Rouse of the Ancients,
Yeah.
E-Strikes, Exude Confidence.
Finishing with loads of meet and greets and
No,
and
meet and greets. That's the point. They had no meet and greets and no rune flashes.
I thought you had meet and greet in your
No,
end.
I think I had blues,
Yeah, I
but
remember
not
blue meet and
reds.
greets when you were playing OTK, but that's another
Yeah,
story.
but that was kind of like a poor man's go again. I called it, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like, oh, if I have to, but
and the thing
it's
is
not
that deck,
it's not the one I want.
that OTK deck did need Rouse the Ancients. Like it needed that go again
Yeah,
to
exactly.
to
It needed.
actually finish the turn, right? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. And what made that deck, in my opinion, like such a key, like the biggest factor I thought that I was comfortable using it is because you always start the turn with a ninth blade because
yeah,
it comes in for 9. You get a go again. So a 9 with a load of rune chants, that's a lot of damage. And then
yeah,
7 go again. That's a high number with go again.
yeah.
And then E strike for 5. The numbers
It adds up,
are going
right?
down a
They
bit.
can't block it, you know.
Yeah, these are huge hits. But with this one, I was like, well, the biggest hit is, well, yeah, we've got a knife blade. That's really good. I'm liking that. And then it just goes, meet and greet. Yeah, I mean, if I don't pull them,
Yeah,
rune flash. I mean, my head just then goes, well,
I mean, you
man, I wonder.
basically have to have a Moravian Skies.
Yeah, but you've got to have you can't pull it from Sonata. You got to have it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. And
and I mean,
this is when my brain starts to go like,
I guess that the
how
positive
do we?
is that if you have the Moravian Skies, then the
Mm,
Creepers is 2 attacks with go again, right? That's
yeah.
minimum for the
Yeah,
turn. But obviously, you've got the problem of everything else. How do I
well,
get
you
those
don't know what you're going to
attacks?
pick up and draw. This is
Yeah,
the thing, and I'm not. The thing is, it can. I actually haven't given it a real good go of what does this OTK package look like in this list. I know it's good because
he did very well with it.
yeah, it's definitely got all the things there. I just think that a lot of people are going to look at this and go, "Ah, sweet, okay, this is what you do," and it's like, no, this is, in my opinion, really difficult to pull off because while you're generating your rune chants, right,
Yeah,
you've got to block.
and
So
block everything.
you've
You're
got
going to
to,
die.
yeah, you've got, you can take some hits as long as the hits don't have a, isn't crazy. You know what I mean? When it comes to, I don't know, any on hit effect stuff, you got to throw away the weapons you're going to use to win the game.
Yeah,
You got to put them all in the bin, or put some in the bin to get to the point where you're actually ready to go.
yeah,
So there is actually a really, really big juggling act you got to kind of keep an eye on. And I might be just overcomplicating this thought process, but when I was trying to make up an OTK list before I saw Jason Chung's, I was having a miserable time getting it wrong, and getting balances wrong and stuff. And the biggest thing was actually the defense reactions. they scuffed those turns up so hard because it just once you go right Sonata, I've got like I don't know 16 rune chance. I'm going to Sonata. It's going to come in for 8 plus 3, so that's 11. 11 cards. Sweet. Here we go. Okay, bang, 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 bang. Throw them all out, and you're like, oh, there's 2 defense reactions in here. Okay, that's not too bad. You think that's not too bad, but the whole mix of non-attack actions to attack actions is sometimes a bit skewy at times. And you kind of just wished, if only I had one more attack action or just one more non-attack action. And then you look and you've got 2 defense reactions in the mix. You're like, oh my God, these things are just blanks. They're pure blanks. They don't contribute to anything.
And it's kind of like your whole blocking strategy for the first half of the game and pitching strategy need to be cognizant of exactly how many of each is left in your deck.
Yeah.
The defense reactions need to go as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But then when you're pitching, you need to pitch non-attack actions and attack actions.
But what are you pitching when you're not attacking?
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Right. when this is the thing when a lot of people sort of go, oh well, this stuff comes in for free. Yeah, these free stuff are great, but man, if I really want to put this card away, it's really difficult.
Like it would almost be better if Read the Runes costed 1.
In some ways.
In some ways, yeah. I mean, no one's complaining about free cards, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, there's times where you actually look at like it's basically O for the Art Knight is hero card. It just comes in and goes, hey, don't worry, boys. I'll put those 2 reds on the bottom of your deck for you. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Oath.
Any cards you want, really, at that point.
Yeah. It does. Let's hide these cards away. Don't worry. But yeah, that's I don't know where we're going with this, but
that's all right. Yeah. You've given your thoughts on Matt Rogers' deck. We're coming up on an hour, so we're probably going to leave it soon. I think this has been a really great chat. I really find the deck building process to be fascinating, especially when it comes to someone who's obviously built their own deck, tested it, and taken it to a tournament and placed very well. There is a lot of people who do rely on other people's work, myself included, in order to try and win and do less tweaking. And I think it's very interesting, I think, for people to hear from someone.
Well, I would encourage people to actually have a go at trying to do some deck building stuff, because I think that little point that you made, Finbar, with recognizing what a hero's strengths are and then building on that and just playing along that and testing along what you think those things do. I think they're very important things to sort of help become a bit of a deck builder. There's nothing better, in my opinion, than having your own built deck, purely because you know why everything is in there. And someone will always come along and say, I don't agree with this card, I put this card in. And then you just got to just say, that's fine. Like, if you, as a deck builder, you value these certain cards more than I value these certain cards. Sometimes there's a straight up argument of, no, dude, why are you putting this card in? It doesn't. It's terrible. But I think in time, it's better to find these conclusions out yourself.
Yeah, building your own decks gives you the confidence to know when someone else is not talking sensibly, right?
Yeah.
If you're always net decking, you're just gonna have this thing where someone's like, "Oh, you should change this card for another one," and because you haven't built the deck from scratch and tested both cards, you're not going to go, no, that one's worse. You're going to go, well, this really important person's telling me that that's bad, so therefore I'm wrong. Let's change the deck, right?
I think the deck definitely. I run around with people's net deck lists, but just as a point, but more to a point of I want to see what I want to get a fast track of the feel of the hero, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to completely copy this. I just want to get like I said, the fast track of the hero. And if a lot of people are looking at Viscerai and working out where do I start, this and not to sort of make this anything as a thing of, hey, I need to be relevant in any way, but I honestly think best starting point to get that fast track feel of Viscerai is to probably play the list that I've run around with.
Yeah.
I don't think that my list is as good as Matt's. I think
Mm-hmm.
Matt's has got for me as a Viscerai player that's been playing for over a year. I love the versatility that deck can
Mm-hmm.
bring.
Yeah.
I also think that deck is also incredibly difficult,
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
will put. I think a lot of people may look at this and get very lost and make probably some potential wrong decision points on what they want to kind of do. And honestly, I think if you're going to just try it out, go try the list that I've run out. It's pretty easy, right? You've got the cookie cutter turn of non-attack action attack weapon, gives you the good feel of what a mid-range Viscerai hero wants to do. And
Mm-hmm.
then after that, I would also recommend go play Jason Chung's OTK list.
I think that's a good
Go
list to play.
it's a really really good list. It's very I find it very forgiving, very easy, very much tells you where you want to put things, and I think that's a very very good list to
Yeah.
get a fast track feel of OTK. And once you kind of got those two different ways down, then then really go and have a look at Matt Rogers' list, and then you can go right. I know what the mid range package is meant to do. I've had a real good go with the OTK package. Now I want to try something that's going to try and utilize both
Yeah.
sides. Then yeah, I think that's probably the best starting point to go on.
Yeah.
Because I need to be relevant.
Well, no, but you are relevant, and
I'm joking. I'm
the
joking.
push the point video on this deck list is genuinely fantastic and well
Oh,
worth
thank you.
watching. And I think the thing I would say at this point, really, to people is that obviously, because we're on the net decking discussion, that reps are the only thing that gets you wins with the net deck, right?
I agree with
The
that.
hardest thing that happens when you get a net deck, especially because a lot of the people who are sharing net decks for their own reasons, because obviously they don't want to give away all of the jewels, are sharing it without sideboards. The only way that you really get a good sideboard list, and I can see on the screen now, Hamish, someone has actually provided a sideboard list for your deck. I don't know if it was you or someone.
Oh, what in the
From the
yeah?
video, yeah, but they haven't formatted it very well, so we're gonna ignore
Oh,
that. But
all
but
right.
but
Some guy in the Discord actually put it all on a Word document
oh,
and
that's
put it on
handy.
the Viscerai. Yeah, yeah. I was like, dude, you did. Wow, thank you. You did a better you did a better
So
job than me. Mine was written on a paper.
the point is, though, if you haven't got a sideboard guide, and even if you do, the first thing you need to do with the list that you get is identify what your core 60 cards are, right? What the
Yeah.
cards you're playing into every matchup or most matchups. And
Hmm.
that's the deck you actually need to practice, because all of that tweaking and all that stuff comes later when you
Yeah.
understand the actual core of the deck you're playing. Because really, the thing that makes sideboarding difficult is understanding what cards you can afford to lose for each matchup, as well
Hmm.
as what cards you need to gain. You know, and it's not just a case of, well, I need to take out these because the list told me so. Because not every sideboard, like not every sideboard is Prism. Not every sideboard is a giant neon sign that says, "Hey, have you thought about putting some 6 strength attacks in?" Right?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
of them are a lot more subtle, and the only way you learn that subtlety is by playing the deck and figuring out sideboard guides and things like that yourself, as well as following them. But
Yeah, no, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. Well, thank you so much for the plug. I hope that whoever listens to this and wants to give Viscerai a go has been inspired in some small way to try out a hero that is, always been the edgelord look guy, and thought, I want to give him a go, and yeah, I hope people get inspired to really give a go on that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And as always, if you like this video and you are still listening, then you are probably a fan of my videos at this point, because you've just listened to 58 minutes of them. And, that means you owe me a like and a subscription, I think. Hamish, you can agree with
Yeah.
me. I think 58 minutes, that should get me a like and a subscribe.
I, I 100% agree. Like and subscribe. This dude does a lot of amazing work for the Flesh and Blood community, especially over here in the UK. Our group and the UK group value the work that you put in. So it's yeah, honestly, give this guy a subscribe, man. He needs to get to 1,000 quick.
See, now what Hamish doesn't know is I'm going to soundbite that and put it at the start of all of my other videos,
Ah.
rather than just leaving it at the end here. No, I'm not
Yeah,
really.
do it.
I'm
Do
joking
it.
with you. But yeah, anyway, thanks, Hamish. It's been a really fantastic video, and I've really enjoyed having you on and talking about Viserai and deck building kind of stuff. I think it's been to be really useful.
Can I plug? Can I do one
Oh, of
plug?
course you can, yeah.
Right, push the point.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. If you guys like listening to me, you can listen to more of me on Push the Point with Simon and Trip. We've got a podcast that comes out. Try to get it out every other Friday. It's our new schedule. And yeah, we were on Spotify, Apple, Google. We also chuck it up on YouTube. We've done our deck text for Earthbriar and Lightning Briar on our YouTube as well. And we've got recently just started up a Patreon for our dedicated fans. And yeah, just like and subscribe us, man. It super appreciate it. We're nowhere near the heights of Steelfur, but we're slowly grabbing our way up there.
Rapidly accelerating in the distance. Podcasts in the rearview mirror may appear closer than they are.
I know. Every time I come on, I'm like, "What's it like up there?"
I had the lovely benefit of just starting the channel after you, but more aggressively, I would say. I put up a lot more videos and a lot less editing.
Yeah, I know.
Those are two things that help a lot.
Oh, they certainly do, dude. To be honest with you, we're lucky, aren't we, just to have content for the UK.
We can talk about
exactly.
We can play and have fun and people to talk about it with. And with that happy note, we're both going to say goodbye. Thank you for listening to this video.